they say, is not appreciated until it is taken away or manipulated. The world was in its normal state of living before something that was prophesied by a French philosopher, Nostradamus, came to stagnate the entire universe. About 469 years ago, Nostradamus in 1551 said, "There will be a twin year 2020, from which will arise a queen, Corona, and will come from the East China, and will spread a plague of virus on a country with 7 hills, that is Italy, and will transform the twilight of men into dust, that is death, to destroy and ruin the world, and it will be the end of the world's economy as you know it. Even though the sun is noted to rise from the east, Corona took its place, causing the world to be in a standstill." Spreading in all parts of the world, Ghana is one of the countries who, in one way or the other, made measures in place to curb the pandemic. This was made possible by an annual address by the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to fellow Ghanaians as he unveiled one after the other the recorded cases and an additional reform to curb the spread of the virus.
6 confirmed cases have been announced, all of persons who recently traveled into the country. Public education is being intensified to ensure that citizens are well advised on preventive measures.
As the country started to record cases of the virus, President, together with Minister of Health and Information, intensified preventive measures to the public and made sure it sank down to the throats and hearts of citizens. Early 15th March 2020, after the President had chaired a meeting with his Interministerial Committee on the Interest of the Public Safety and the Protection of our Population to review the public gathering advisories, he came to a consensus that public gatherings such as funerals, festivals, workshops, political rallies, churches, and others be suspended in 4 weeks.
I've decided, in the interest of public safety and the protection of our population, to review the public gathering advisories earlier announced as follows. Firstly, all public gatherings, including conferences, workshops, funerals, festivals, political rallies, sporting events, and religious events such as services in churches and mosques, have been suspended for the next 4 weeks. Private burials are permitted, but with limited numbers, not exceeding 25 in attendance. Secondly, all universities, senior high schools, and basic schools, i.e. public and private schools, will be closed Monday, 16th of March 2020, till further notice.
Schools closed, and Government of Ghana's travel advisory also issued. Establishments such as supermarkets, shopping malls, restaurants, nightclubs, hotels, and drinking spots to observe strict hygienic protocols coupled with social distancing. Ministry of Transport also in collaboration with private and public transport service to make sure they observe strict protocol, which later led to the reduction of fuel price and passengers just to curb the virus. Due to the spread of the global pandemic, some parts of the nation were also noted as hotspot areas for the virus, that is Accra, Kasoa, and Kumasi, which triggered a need for partial lockdown. Nose masks became mandatory, especially in the hotspot areas, that is Accra, Kasoa, and Kumasi. Though some recalcitrant persons were found flouting, the appropriate sanctions were given. In the period of the lockdown, Ghanaians started to wail for food. This tasked some individuals and organizations to make food provisions in the form of donations to Ghanaians or citizens who couldn't afford in that period of the lockdown. This ended in a breach of social distancing protocol since there was a mad rush for the food. A number of head porters, popularly known as Kayaye, were also spotted flouting the interregional lockdown section given by the president. They were spotted at a Jesu in Kumasi and with police escort brought back to Accra. Vice President Bawumia gave a donation of 500 cedis each to the headquarters for their upkeeping during the lockdown. They also received other incentives in the form of donations from individuals and organizations. Notwithstanding, the issue of prisoners became a major concern due to overcrowding situation they face. The Chief Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Prison Service, Superintendent Courage, he noted that adequate arrangements were being made to curb the spread of the virus in the prison yards, especially with no visits from relatives and organizations in that period. Market areas, another prone area for contraction of the virus, got fumigated across board, that is in Accra, Kumasi, and other parts of the country. Frontline workers, that is health workers specifically, also were given stimulator packages from the president, that is tax exemption and others. PPEs were also donated by individuals and organizations to places of need.
An insurance package with an insurance sum of 350,000 cedis for each health personnel, an allied professional at the forefront of the fight, has been put in place, with a daily allowance of 150 cedis being paid to contact tracers. Government has also decided that all health workers will not pay taxes on their emoluments for the next 3 months.
Entertainment-wise, in order to respect the social distancing protocol, many programs became standstill and had to go virtual. The likes of 3 Music Awards and VGMA Music Awards for frontline workers are classical examples. Some artists also had to go virtual within their own circles just to entertain people or their fans. The likes of Shatta Wale, Edem, and Medical are a few.
Them tourists, poof poof be the anthem tourists. I feel make it rain on them tourists. People who I put the blame on them tourists. When I see you walk by the butter, hey, the way you smile make me butter. When you touch me, I butter. Your back I make I butter. When I see you walk by the
Politically, there came an issue of isolation centers as the number of cases kept on increasing. A place to accommodate the infected patient became a challenge. The president made mention of building 88 hospitals in his 9th address to the nation, since he said the extra administration never paid attention to.
There are 88 districts in our country without district hospitals. We have 6 new regions without regional hospitals. We do not have infectious disease control centers dotted across the country. And we do not have enough testing and isolation centers for diseases like COVID-19.
This also triggered the former president of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, to hold an online virtual question and answer section, touching especially on infrastructure, in a way trying to reply that of what the president has already said in his address.
My brothers and sisters, this acknowledgement bears out the vision and clear thinking that went into the massive investments we made in the health sector. There were uninformed and snide remarks at the time, some questioning why many such health facilities were being constructed. We were acutely aware, however, that these investments were necessary to modernize a very fragile and weak healthcare system. What we had at the end of 2016 was not the optimum, but great gains had been made. And so if government had diligently continued and added a few more beds and enhanced medical equipment, our situation would have been better than it is today.
Since the lockdown, accessing education also became a major challenge, since some students couldn't afford the e-learning procedure. There also rose some questions like, how effective will it be and is it productive? Some religious leaders also threatened the president to open ban on churches as he incurred the wrath of God on himself. Others also said this is not the time for us to open churches.
Nana Akufo-Addo, any MPP abayin. Se kosiade ebe, ana kosiade edi enimu ne na otwe. Mo amia soro dan ama obi ankwa soro ya. Nyame ato renchema ebe sigana no, you'll be surprised. This Sunday and the following Sunday, you bet me. Nyame magu fia omo hahai. Nyame magu fia omo tete. Enti mo send signal na mana na do mame. Eni mpanyimfo ebu man no say. So mo dia doctor fo di. Eje science di more than Yakopon dia. Nyame chiri to me. This Sunday, the following Sunday, Nyame dia ma time no lapse na no. Omo mi aso down to moi. BBC Ghana.
Coronavirus and 5G brouhaha with Pastor Chris. Another controversial issue.
5G in Abuja, and they're digging in Lagos and getting it ready in Lagos. That's the reason the federal government had to lock down Abuja and Lagos so the 5G could be installed. And there are other cities planned for. And I've said before, what killed people in Wuhan, China, was not the virus. It was the 5G. If you say it's not, tell us how you discovered yours. This is the reality. That's what killed.
Prior to the 2020 polls, the Electoral Commission had to face various backlash from Ghanaians as it embarked on its new voters registration. A pilot of how the whole registration will look like was made in the various regional offices as we wait patiently for the registration itself, which will commence by the end of June 2020. Meanwhile, final year students are supposed to resume campus, with SHS 3 and 2 students resuming on the 18th of June 2020. WASSCE students are also set to rise in August 3rd, 2020, with BEC also starting on the 14th of September 2020. However, some universities are also still having virtual studies, and some final year students of some universities had to go back to campus for their exam. What happens to children in preschool, primary school, JHS, assuming they are asked to resume back to school? How safe are they?
Coronavirus is real, so join CM Online and CMGA TV as we mask up to end coronavirus. Mask up so we end coronavirus together. Coronavirus, I say, is real, so mask up everywhere.